All right. Firstly, Dr. John Taylor, welcome to Australia, welcome to Perth.
Thank you.
You've curated this exhibition especially for the WA Museum. You're intimately familiar with these objects because they've come from your museum, but tell us about seeing it here in this environment in Perth.
Well, it's tremendously exciting to see these objects here in Perth because the installation here does a great job of bringing every object to life. A lot of these objects which are displayed in the British Museum are often placed very close together, but here every object is separately focused, brilliantly lit, so you can really study everything and fully extract all the information that it has to offer.
So I guess, what gave you, I guess, every exhibition is different. Was there something that sort of excited you or gave you pause when you were actually sort of pulling this one together?
I think in creating this show for Perth, it's been really interesting to get a balance between three-dimensional objects and flat items like papyrus. This is a special exhibition because it focuses very much on the actual magical spells the Egyptians used to get themselves into the afterlife. And other exhibitions maybe give you one or two examples of a papyrus with these spells, but here we have a whole range of different ones. So that gives it a new dimension, and it's really interesting to then put those documents in context with the mummies and the masks and all the other objects. So I think the visitor to this, they may have seen other Egyptian exhibitions, they won't see one quite like this.
Wonderful. So what would you like audiences, perhaps three things, to take away from seeing this exhibition?
I think one thing that we want people to come away with is a sense that they're really connecting with the ancient Egyptians, that they're getting inside their minds. And from seeing the spells and the illustrations with the other objects, you get a real sense of their hopes and fears, what kind of things were on their minds during life and what they thought would happen to them after death. That's one thing. I think another one is very much the sense of you are making a visit here to an ancient place. You can see things here that you will not otherwise see except by going to Egypt itself. You get a real sense of what it's like going into a tomb, seeing all the objects laid out there around the mummy. And then again, just the amazing quality of the objects, the high levels of craftsmanship and artistry that you see in these pieces. These are some of the finest examples of their types. So, all of those things I think will give a really vivid impression of life in ancient Egypt.
Wonderful. Now, obviously these are, British Museum objects, your objects, so to speak. What do you think of the exhibition here? What do you think of how they've been displayed and shown, and the stories that this has told?
I think the display here is excellent. It really makes the most of these objects. Every single piece is brilliantly lit, everything tells its story very clearly, and as you go through, there's a real sense of making discoveries all along the way. The objects are very carefully laid out so that you're turning corners, entering new spaces. Every time you see a new group of pieces, there's a revelation, there's a sense that, this is something special. So I'm very impressed, I'm really pleased with the way the show has been laid out.
We are very pleased that you're pleased. Dr. John Taylor, thanks very much for your time today.
Pleasure.